Khubor Pibaro na Don Bosco Media Network, Yuan Ra Shapi ki Khubor Niam ka Jylla jong katayo balay jong banay Jylliew arajar arpun rio. Kimat bakong sanha kani katayo kilong. Shitrehem ka jingyat pilgrim sa Sacred Heart Theological College Maulay. Rakis ngi ka baar ka sengrang ba Mauyong Parish. Bat sau pusau ngut ki brodar ki lasya penkentang dikon ha Orients Theological College Maulay. Bat mentangin pasya ki Khubor makampanya. Haga kat sau tarik Jylliew arajar arpun riu ki pait riu nget kabalang Katolik ki lasya menta da ka jing riu blay haga jingyat pilgrim sa Sacred Heart Theological College Maulay. Kani ka jingyat pilgrim ka kringi ki lingdo bat ki pait ublay ha ki jing dwai bat ka jing IT ha ka dot note bakut tam jong Jisu. Ha kini ka sngi lele buram ye ka dot note bakut tam Jisu lazdang da ka jing mani sacrament ha ka por prashiteng men step bot sa kamas bakut ha ka por shipo shiteng balapin menta do most Reverend Archbishop Victor Lingdo ha ka jing sanran lang provincial ka Shillong province Reverend Padar John Zuziama bat ki wei pat ki lingdo ki sastar ki brodar ki longkmi ki longkpa ki samla bat ki hep barit. Hakasneng ka kraw Archbishop Victor Lingdo ula batay syapang ka jing e jong blay bat ula kentui ki pait riu nget pe ki de banya e mar kelyang namar ublay ulong ka jing e. Ula ongru habadon ka jing e don ublay bat habadon ublay ka don ka jing kemen ka jing suk bat ka jing kerku kerhai ha ki ying ki sem jongi. Hakanok pai sngi kalodon kajing mani sacrament balay lam do Reverend Padar Raphael Mayong SDP bat ubala kren syapang kajing e jong blay. Kipa jong blay kila yok ban ngam Jylliew bat ban puson kambaha hai kajing dwai lingba kajing rwai ro balay lam do ba kupar syadap. Umos Reverend Archbishop Victor Lingdo ula kerku kerdo ya barok kipa ba kibalawan ban shimenta hakani kesngi da kajing syadham.
Raya i jangi barabor. Pias ngau gospel Jauh Matius lenong kaba arpusan kadway kaba arpusan hadu arpo prat kandai Jisu ni kong ai ngu yo pa wong ko pa ngai ngu yami namat malapan pau ya kecing maya hakibaret paria mano kibaret paria mapi baro kibaret paria Ublay ula buri ina ki bastad dan bun ki bastad apartheid ki don cingek blay dan bun ki bahek spa apartheid ki don cingek blay handai ki baret baria ko mangi hangi ngingek ho blay ngingek ho blay ngingek ka cing maya jo ka cing padem jing su spa takadau ci suang ngai ngu yemi ko pa Bame buri ina ki bastad bat ki basian melapen pau haki barit baria ublay lapen pau hangi nginget yo ublay ngiek yo ublay ni syakri yo ublay terkadau nginget memang idai ki barit baria ki banget yo ublay dai ki barit baria ki baduk ki barangli mendai ki berspa mendai ki badan spa dan hajar ki barit baria ki banget ni kong ho ublay nadu pasang history juga jing pedim hadu mentabat habanda wailo ka partai ngipat ki banget uji suang kumno wan sianga pi baro ki basitom ki bakia ka jingket ngan penjatha japi perlok be ngi baro ngi kia jingket la ka joga jingket jingket ayu jingpang stom ni don ka jingkia ka jingpang stom jingduk jingrangli jingsneng jikraw ki kun ikti ga bae jing pendap penbiang ya kayi ka sam kamlong besuk jing te song ya kayi ka sam kamlong besuk te jisuang kono wan shanga pi baro ki ba kia ka jingket Kiba shitom kiba kia ka jingket ngan penjatha yapi kakten u Jisu nama kata wan Jisu dwai ai tiu Jisu pan u Jisu un ai bet wang pan sayo pediang gospel jong Matius nyo pan pin sayo pediang pan ka jingek pin yo kita baro Perakisan mi wan singa pi baro kiba shitom ba kiba kia ka jingket ong try Jisu Kabalai Jisuang ba ayah ka lingkor, ba ayah ka dingpana, ba ayah ka GM Jilong Kestan. Hababut yo blay haban ba ayah ka dingpana jungi. Kajing don jingbut yo Jisu don kamban ba ayah dingpana, la ka jong ka dingpana. La da ka bakia ni ka pasting. Hendai la dangi but hok yo blay ka jingkit jungi ka long ka pasting. Bat kabasau Jisuang hikai na nga artli kiai jing jem not bat jing sngoret nila duna palat kini ka jing jem not jing sngoret khasi juang yik basarong as penhiaket yakibat baria sa kedu shalor kamaria kalalong ka wei ka ba sngoret tam ka ba ublay la kentil na ka jing long ret jong ka shaba krautam sa pening Jisu rawang hikai na nga balong bajem not basnoret kajing iem. To pen i markaliang kajing jem not jing snoret siying sisam. Hakabalan, hakim lang salang, hasdong hatau, hakajia day parabriu, jedai bahayang asam, jedai bat iway pan. Long ki basnoret, long ki bajem not. Dangi dan kata ngisuk ikeman hakaji iem jongi. Mutraji su kular banyai kerku yang i nakapos kapor. Ai bakani kacing leru play cengi mentang kasi mentang kamas kut sibet hakajim pentang kapaar.
Kasing rangba Catholic Mauyong Parish hagakat South Rik Jylliew kalaraki kalingko sngi ka baar. Hadin bakalayo ka parish batamai house nem arajar arpusaw. Lazdangi kini kesngi raki kemen de kecingken tiu bat penheri ke lama jeng keseng hakapor shipho bejimin step da Reverend Padar Bajan Star Kongji Padar rangba haga jingedon lang kinoilam bat kidkot jeng keseng kibala kenjo palat spangut. Kejing ther jong slap kini kapor kala pentut shipor ya kini ke program haplau ying meni. Uba Andreas Lingdo President ula pediang ngobha ya baro kibalawan sya kini ke lingko sngi ka baar. Hadin kini, layat procession syapo ying meni na kebenta kamas pakut balapin menta do usok blay kongji. Hakasning ke kraw usok blay kongji ulapin kenmau ya kejing koridor bat kejing mentoy na kebenta kirangba banlong kidukot jong kaseng rangba namar kirangba kilong ki resort bat kipaya baskem jong ke ying kesem kabalang kasnong kathaw bat hakim lang salang. Kejing temu jong kaseng ulong kalong banyalam ya ka gospel, bante asong para rangba, bat banyarap markeliang kumshipara. Day hagi terpeng jeng kirangba, ka klan kaying kesem, kabalang bat ke imlang salang. Lada kini kisenjor, baro kalong beriu man beriu kala senjor lot ulaong. Habaladap kasning ka kraw ha kapor mas bakut, lapenrung dukot tamay kat prangut kirangba kibanakaling gishnong, hapo kajing pet jang kamauyong parish. Kejing le niam pendung riu dukot kalalong kabasyong kun shibon. Ha kabagi dukot barung tamay kila kular banya jan show blay ban iit ya kabalang bat buat iki kendon jong kani keseng. Andal ladap kejing le niam baro labut sekejing ya bam jalang kum shiying shisem. Ha kapor no asngi la pelong ya ke general meeting ha kaba ke executive committee kala ai ki report prekam bat kejing kenjing dia bro shisnem. Andalawai kejing elang la pelong ya ke le niam mani bat ngo blay ya ke Eucharist pokoi tam keduan da ke jingriu blay basyong kun mensim. Da ke mensim ke badak da ke jingkemen ke bakraw bat ke jing sngongo yo blay. Kabalang kala sakhi ya ke mau jam ke bakraw ha ke jing jing ki saw pusaw ngut ki brodar ki bala sya pen kentang dikon ha Orient Theological College Maulai ha ke sngi balang ke khatnyo terik Jylliew arajar arpon riu. Ya kemas pekhuit lepin menta the Most Reverend Archbishop John Mulachira, Archbishop jangka Goti, ha ke jingsen ran lang rector jangka Orient Theological College, ki lingdo, ki professor, ki pat riunget, bat ki bahyi ngesem, jang kini ki brodar, ki blasya penkentang dikon. Haba jingkren u Archbishop ula batai kini kesngi kum kawai kesngi jang ke jingkemen, ke Jylliew bat ke jingsngongo ya ke balang. Ula ai ngu iu blay ubala khot bat ubala don ringkat bat ki hagis nem jong ke jing pen kre jong ki banlong ki lingdo. U Archbishop ula pen ken mau ye ki dikon ke jing mut hi jong ke jing long lingdo ka long ke jing syakri. Ula pen kesan da ke bakado ba ka jinglong dikon kam dei tang ka jing pen kre na ka benta ka jinglong lingdo Henry ka jing khot ban shakri ukres bat ikibriu jong u habak kedau ya kenuksa jong u dikon Philip ha ka kitab ki kam ki apostol u archbishop ulapen pau kumno Philip ulapen bana da ka jing shetrem ya ka gospel shekinong samadia bat hadin ulapen baptis ya unong Ethiopia Lingba ka jing shakri ka ktin ki dikon ki penbana yu kris lingba ka jing shakri ha ka duwan ki rap ya ka balang ha ka jing mani bat lingba ka jing it ki pen pau ya ka khamat bas ngawrit jong kris u archbishop ulaken tui ki dikon ha ki laitli ki jing kai bakongsan shwaban yeng ha ka duwan kum ki lingdo ki dei ban nang shwaban dem krup ha ka jing shakri shwaban yalam ye ki breu blei ki dei ban nang ban ya hapdeng jong ki But Schwaben IT ke jing kenya ukris ki dei ban nang Schwaben IT yelade. Da ka ba pen kesan ba wei nong tre ba pen kentang le pen bet renti ya ukris ukli ba unong aplang brod jong kabalang. Wa archbishop ula kedau ba kelinti ban long unong aplang brod kasdang da ka balong usyakri. Kat ba ki dikon kedang thia lengai ha kapor jong kalitini jong kiriu khoj le pen chluri ki ban IT lot ya la ka jing em hau blei da ka ba shania ah ka jinglong bishisha jong u ling ba ka jingmen ba ka jingyale da ka ba khot e ka jingya sa jong ka maria theisoti ka shakri utrai ula dwai ba kan don ba yo ba ni don ringkat ba ki dikon ki pathamai ba ban hikai ki ka jinglong ritmen sim ka jinglong bishisha ba ka jinglong bala ban yo e ka jing shakri ba khot jong ki hadin ka mas ba khot la plat pai ba ya ka kot the till of 36 pilgrims Daw Archbishop John Mulachira bansa akan mau ya kini kesngi kerpang jo kini dikon bethamai.
Fathers, brothers, sisters, and my dear friends, today is a day of profound joy and thanksgiving for the church. 44 of our seminarians are going to be ordained deacons. We thank God for calling them, for accompanying them through years of formation, and for bringing them to this important step on their journey towards priesthood. Dear Ordinandi, today the church entrusts to you the ministry of the diaconate. Within a year, God willing, you will be ordained priest. Yet this year is not merely a waiting period for something greater. Diaconate is a sacred ministry in itself, a ministry that teaches us that the very heart of priesthood is service. The Second Vatican Council in Lumen Gentium reminds us that deacons are strengthened by sacramental grace so that they may serve the people of God in communion with the bishop and his body of priests in the ministry of the liturgy, the word, and charity. This threefold ministry is not simply a set of functions, it is a way of life. Through your ministry of the word, you will proclaim Christ. In the life of Deacon Philip, we see that though he was a deacon, he was all fire to proclaim the gospel to the Samaritans, and later God used him to baptize the Ethiopian eunuch. Through your ministry at the altar, you will assist the church and proclaim him as the Lord. Through your ministry of charity, you will reveal Christ. Diaconate teaches us three important lessons. Before you stand at the altar as a priest, you must learn to kneel in service. Before you can lead God's people, you must learn to walk among them. Before you can offer sacrifice of Christ, you must learn to offer yourself. The church teaches that every ordained minister is configured to Christ, the head and shepherd of the church. Yet the path to becoming a shepherd begins by becoming a servant. In many ways, the diaconate is God's school of humility. It forms the heart according to the pattern of Christ Himself. When the disciples were arguing about greatness, Jesus gave them a lesson that changed the meaning of leadership. He said, "Whoever wishes to be first among you must be the servant of all." And then He pointed Himself to them. He said, "The Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve and give His life as a ransom for many." During a devastating plague in Milan, many people fled the city in fear. But St. Charles Borromeo, the Bishop of Milan, remained among his people. He visited the sick, organized relief for the suffering, personally cared for the dying, and spent long hours in prayer. On one occasion, seeing a priest exhausted by the demands of his ministry, he did not advise him to rest. But in effect, he told that the shepherd cannot abandon the flock when wolves or disease threaten it most. In his own life became a living commentary of the words of Jesus. The Good Shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. What made St. Charles such a courageous shepherd was not merely administrative skill or natural leadership. It was holiness. He understood that a minister's effectiveness depends not first on what he does, but on who he is before God. The people were inspired by his charity because it flowed from a heart united to Christ. Speaking to the priests and the clergy of Mexico on 17th February 2016, Pope Francis said, "There is a popular saying, 'Tell me how you pray, and I will tell you how you live,' and vice versa. Seeing how you live, I will learn to believe in the God to whom you pray." Prayer is something we learn as we learned to walk, speak, and listen. The church entrusts to you the liturgy of the hours so that your voice may join the prayer of Christ and His church throughout the world. Prayer is not an addition to ministry, it is the soul of ministry. Without prayer, service becomes activism. Without prayer, preaching becomes mere speech. Without prayer, charity becomes philanthropy. But with the prayer, every action becomes an extension of God's own ministry. The church today does not simply need efficient ministers, she needs holy ministers. The world has many managers and organizers, but it desperately needs witnesses, men and women who live to proclaim the gospel they preach. Today, you will make the promise of celibacy. It's a sign of your complete dedication to Christ and His church. It is not merely a discipline. It is a witness that God is worthy of an undivided heart. Guard this gift.
But da kitu ki Khubor ngila poi shikabakot jengani ka Thup Khubor. Nga kitbok ba pin shat pin klan, but nga kerpat ipi baladadon ki Khubor ki bajah ki shnong ni ki parish jong pi, ba pin sngobaha ban pentip shangi hau tiu number ubapau ha ka screen jong pi. Kublay shibon ublay un kerku ya pi.